Welcome to True and Unpolished, the podcast, a Cusp culture production. Through this podcast, our intention is to uplift, inspire, and amuse.
Let's get authentic. Good afternoon, everybody. Happy New Year. This is Lydia.
And this is Mary.
And we are here today. And at this time, this new year, we thought that it would be prudent, it would be truly helpful to talk about intentions and living with intention. And a couple of things came to my mind. The first, actually, I did not, well, I know I've shared it with Mary before, but I didn't just now when we were talking. So when I first kind of became aware of this idea that, experience follows intention, and that if I set an intention, the experience that I have afterward will, be in line with that intention. When I first kind of started to hear about this, I remember setting this intention. I can't even remember where I was or what I was doing, but I was setting an intention this certain day, or maybe it was this week, who knows, it could have been a month, that I was going to be strong. So my intention, I said, was to be strong.
When was this?
This was, 15 years ago. It was a while ago. It might be 20. I don't know. So this is a long time ago.
This was your first.
Yes. Intention. Yes. It was my first, toe in the water, playing around with this concept of intention and living with intention. So I set my intention to be strong. And what happened is that life, I know. Life proceeded to beat me up, and I did not understand what was going on, because here I was doing this new intention thing, and I thought, what is going wrong? And I realized that what happened is that I set an intention to be strong, and so life gave me a bunch of situations in which I need to be strong.
Right.
And also, of course, bring to me all of the ways that I wasn't strong, bring to light all of the arenas in which I was not strong as an invitation, to take the next highest step towards strength. So I learned right away the power of intention. And I also learned then that I was going to be really crafty with my intentions, and recognize that I think that there is a really helpful way to set an intention. And I'm going to give an example of that now. And that is that I guess it was the beginning of 2020, maybe, when everything, it might've been right before all the stuff hit the fan, or maybe right after. And I, oftentimes in my work, I am on the phone a lot. And the times where I was doing spiritual counseling sessions, I would always pause beforehand and take a breath and be intentional. But I was doing that on my own. I wasn't doing that with people on the phone. And I decided, Lydia, why are you not doing this with everybody and on every call, not just spiritual counseling calls? And so I started to invite people, anybody that I got on the phone with, I'd say, hey, can we just pause and take a breath and say an intention? And the intention was to just allow our essence to lead, and to allow wisdom and beauty and truth and love to show up and, speak through us and for us. I'm telling you, the most inspired calls happened because of that. It was amazing.
Well, I know that's true, because obviously we talk on the phone.
That's right.
So we have conversations, and you have done that with me. That's something that you and I have done over the years, but not consistently every time.
Yeah.
But even a couple of weeks ago, we started a discussion. It was actually, we're preparing to do this, to do the podcast. And we started our discussion, remember, and we moved into a heated conversation where emotions got sort of escalated. And so at that point, we stopped and then did the intention. That really shifted the conversation.
That's a good point, because that is exactly what happened. And Mary, you can tell the truth. The truth is that it was Lydia that got triggered. And I will own that. And it was me that got emotional, which is so bizarre. But yeah, it was me that got emotional. And so we said, hey, should we stop and set an intention? So that's actually a good, tip. Even if you don't set one at the beginning of every call, when you begin to feel like somebody gets triggered, you can gently invite you to stop and pause and take a breath.
Well, and I think that's true. I mean, because we have a spiritual partnership, and in that, our intention as friends is to support each other. Not in an egoic way, like, oh, you're so amazing and they're such jerks kind of thing, but to support each other. And so the intention of our friendship is for Mary to support Lydia's growth and Lydia to support Mary's growth.
Right.
And the highest good for our relationship together, but also separately. And so I think, that we do that intentionally, and whether you have a said spiritual partnership with somebody or not, if you have a spiritual partnership, and this is a conversation you've had with your friend or intimate partner or whatever, family member, then I think we could say, I'm sorry, I was lost.
That's okay. I lose my place all the time. You're awesome and wonderful.
Thank you.
This is what I'll tell you, that I think that where I was going with that, and I think it's where you were going, is that, if you already have a spiritual partnership, then yay, this could be a great practice that you'll be able to introduce really easily. And if you don't worry, because this could actually be a way to move toward that and to shift the relationship toward that. So you can just, and there's a way to say it, use your own words, but you can say, you know what? I notice that I'm getting emotional, or that you're getting emotional, and I just really want to, show up in a way that is loving and kind and supportive to you. Can we just take a breath? Then you take a breath. It's not magic. So with intention though, so Mary, this is what I'll ask. I know that you have a specific practice around the start of the new year, and this being the new year today, Happy New Year, would be a good time to talk about that. You want to share a little bit about that, your practice?
This is a practice that I started in 2014, and since I started it, my friend Julie is the one that introduced this practice to me, and it has certainly been a journey, because the first year that I started this practice, and the practice is identifying a word of the year. And that year was 2014, and the word that I chose was release. And the first part of the year was about releasing things that no longer serve me. And as the year unfolded, it came to light that my marriage was going to be one of those things that I would be releasing. So my intention was about letting go, but sometimes life takes a turn and we don't really know what that means.
Right. Well, you said you were going to let go of things that no longer served you. And sometimes we are aware of the things that no longer serve us. And sometimes
we are not.
You're not. That's right.
Right. So, the word of the year for me, it's a new understanding of a New Year's resolution. So you're not resolving anything, but allowing a word to come into your consciousness, and that word becomes a grounding point and a focal point for the year. And I have, since I started in 2014, the word is helpful and also frustrating, because at one point, and I've heard other people talk about this too, like clients that I work with, where around at the first of the year, we understand the word, gung-ho, just like with a New Year's resolution. And so for the first 30 days, we're all about it or whatever. And then at some point we just kind of fall off. And around the middle of the year, we start to think, what was my word? And then around, I'd say October, what I've done is I've thought, okay, I really am sucking at this word. And so I need to get on it. And I've only got a few more months left. So then I start refocusing again, where then at the end of the year, what happens is it kind of all comes together and it's almost like magic.
Yeah. I've done this journey with Mary. Like I've watched her do the word and watch this process. So I was laughing because I remember these calls where you're like, what was my word? And because I'll say, what was your word? And we'll try to figure it out. But it is an awesome journey. And inevitably what seems to happen is, and I remember even us having to talk about this last year, because in Unity we do something similar, but Unity every year has a burning bowl ceremony. So like this Sunday we'll do a burning bowl ceremony, and it invites people to, think of something that they want to release, let go of, and then they, write it on a piece of flash paper, and we light it on fire, and it poof goes away, and we watch the smoke go, and it's a cool practice, and it's all around releasing. And what I've noticed, and we were just having this conversation, I think it was like 8 weeks ago, I don't know. And both of us said, gosh, your word and my thing that I was wanting to release, it feels like it's really not happening, and what's going to happen. And Mary reminded us, I can't remember which one. And it was, remember, we always get to this point. We always get to about like the 6-week mark, and we always think, oh, it's not going to happen. We're just staring down the barrel of 6 weeks till the year is over. And it always works out. And we always see that the times where we didn't think anything was happening, we can see in retrospect that something actually was happening towards it that we weren't necessarily aware of consciously in real time.
Yes. And my word for 2020 was shine. And
great word.
Was talking to our friend Christy about this before you and I got on to do this today. And and Christy's word was shine too.
Right.
So we were just kind of talking about the lessons, and if we'd gotten the lesson, what it was. And for me, it was that word was at the beginning of the year. It was like, okay, you shine so that other people can see your light. And so in that sort of interpretation, I'm shining for other people. And the true lesson with this word this year for me has been that is not the case at all.
Right.
While there is truth to what I just said, the real lesson for me was allowing my inner light, my true essence to shine no matter what is there.
Right.
Or who is there. And so that's one of the things I love about this practice, is because you can kind of reflect on the year in a new way. And there's this thread that weaves the year together, and then, reflecting back to the beginning of the year and being able to see how you've grown and what's changed in a positive light.
Yeah. And I'll just say too that I think it's worth mentioning, I a few years ago, my word, or not my word, but the thing that I wanted to release in the burning bowl was I wanted to release unhealthy attachments to a specific person. And I did this later to somebody who I'm very, very close to. The next year, I actually released unhealthy attachments to a person that I'm very, very close to. But what I recognized is that there was this person that was continually in my experience, and she was a person who You know, she was my teacher. She taught me who I didn't want to be and how I didn't want to show up in the world. And she taught me about learning to love, you know, the unlovable and all those things. And I recognized that I had this kind of attachment. I could feel this energetic attachment because this person just kept coming up in my experience. And I knew that it was time to release this. And so energetically, I wanted to release this unhealthy attachment with this person. And the recognition is that healthy attachments, love can't be severed, you know, and all of us at our core are connected with one another, and you know, at our essence are, and that can never be severed no matter what. So, you know, the idea about releasing unhealthy attachments does not affect that bond. And so I said, I'm going to release unhealthy attachments to this person. And guess who was in my life more than ever before that year? That person. Because in order to release these things, all my stuff with this person had to come to a head. And the crazy thing is, I knew I had done it. I knew I had done it with this idea about releasing these attachments. And I kept saying, it was like that moment where you're like, stop the ride. I want to get off. I changed my mind. I changed my mind. And I can say now in retrospect that I'm so happy that I did it. And it was necessary stuff. And ultimately,
Right.
as hard as it got, and there were moments that I really, really struggled and felt kind of down on my knees. Mary was there for these, so she's aware of them. But I'll tell you that in retrospect, I am able to say, thank goodness that happened. Thank goodness it happened exactly the way it happened. And you know, in my experience, no matter how painful something is, once it's over, we don't care how long it lasted. We don't care that it happened as long as it's over, you know. And
Right.
so this idea around release, you know, so maybe if it's your first year setting an intention, maybe you don't want to release something. Although, I mean, I think whatever word you choose, whatever you choose
Well,
is going to have release.
That is the thing. I mean, at least with the word of the year, and it's about letting the word choose you, not
Yes.
the other way around.
Oh, you're saying that's right. Your practice has been kind of letting intuitively the word come to you. But so
Right.
it's New Year's Day. So if people want to do this practice, is it okay that if they let the word come to them and they get it on January 31st?
Oh yeah. I mean, I know. Anytime you want to start an intention, it's just like we were talking about in our phone calls. You know,
Right.
if phone calls starting and not going in a smooth direction, we can pause and, you know, set the intention mid call or mid year. I mean, we can always pause and set an intention, whether it's starting a new year, starting a discussion.
Yeah, like it's never too late to do it. So you can, you know, so the invitation is, you know, to really kind of embrace this idea of intention, whether it be through, you know, releasing something in your life that no longer serves you, or a word of the year that you know you want to intuitively come to you, or heck, if right now when you hear that you have a word, then let that be your word. I mean, you know, it's about living with intention. And the best part of this is that no matter what you choose, you are going to come to see the power behind your intention, because
Right.
you will definitely experience this, and it becomes so much more second nature to live with intention in every arena of your life. And what that ultimately means is that you are the boss. You're at cause now. When you live with an intention, you are at cause, not effect. So life isn't happening to you anymore. You are, you know, the captain of your ship. And it is a very powerful place to be.
Right. And I think it's an important place to be. I mean, especially, you know, given the the events of this past year or last
Mm-hmm.
year, 2020, kind of life is going to happen and we don't have control over much. But
Mm-hmm.
what we do have control over is this, you know,
Yeah.
choosing our intention. So no matter what life brings us this year, we have the ability to create the
Yes.
life that we want
That's right.
by showing up with
Yes.
intention.
And it is really, really true that there are as many different realities as there are people perceiving it. So no matter what is happening, COVID, or not COVID, pandemic, not pandemic, your reality is not at effect of these outer circumstances. The moment you choose to embrace intention, you will come to see that no matter what goes on around you and around me, I can know that, I really am not a victim, and it is a wonderful, powerful place to be.
It feels empowering. And
Oh,
I've
yeah.
lived in both places. I've lived in
Me too.
victim, and I've lived in empowered, choosing intention and choosing to live from a place of empowerment.
Yeah. Yeah. So that is definitely my wish, for me and for all of us, that we really embrace that this year. And there's so much talk about it, isn't there? Everybody's going 2021, 2021. Well, guess what, everybody? It's today. How's it going? How's 2021 going for you? So live with intention, give that gift to yourself, give that gift to the people that you love. Oh, and the other thing that I want to say is, like, in closing, what is so helpful for Mary and I is that we talk about this with each other. We share it at the beginning of the year, and then throughout the year, we have that awareness for one another. So we're having dialogue and conversations about this, and it is so helpful because often, in order to really see it, in order to really see what's going on, you have to hear yourself say it. And you have to also have somebody that loves you and is intentional reflect it back to you so they can say, here's what I see, and so I think that, living with intention on your own, can be a little bit more tricky than living with it with somebody else. So, find somebody, and if you want, you can even, send us a message and tell us what it is.
Yeah, you can connect with us for sure.
Yes. I mean, give that gift to yourself, because the gift of someone else, knowing this for you, knowing this with you, talking it out through the year is really, really helpful. Well, this has been awesome. Happy New Year, Mary.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everybody. 2021. It's going to be great. Let's see what happens next.